Are we on the internet?
We
Yeah.
are.
Hey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elegant Suffering, a good society game of a town with a very long name, which we'll get to shortly. I'm Christina Sid. I am the facilitator for this game, and we're very excited to have a bunch of players who've never played before and have a facilitator who's never done this before. But we're very excited to get started. Good Society, for anyone that doesn't know, is a collaborative storytelling RPG. So we will be writing basically a Jane Austen novel together. We have already done our session 0, so we're going to jump on in to play very shortly. We'll do some quick announcements for the channel first. What do we have coming down the pike? Here we go. This Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, is Saturday night's Thunderball. I always say that in the background, and I get to say it out loud now. I'm so excited! Yay! D&D 5e. I didn't get to tune in this week. Did you? There was a tournament. I know there was a tournament going on, and
it's ongoing. They're in
okay.
the middle of a match right now.
Okay, we're still in the tournament. Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. Check it out. On Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern, we have our Monster of the Week, Slaying 101. A couple of us are in that. We have some fun going on with that in-party drama and out-of-party drama and vampires. It's going to be great. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, Eos returns, D&D 5e. And we have next Thursday, because we're bi-weekly with these shows, we've got 8 p.m. Eastern, All Myths Are True, Tales from the Loop. And I hear you solved Savvy's bird puzzle, so that's good. Yeah. Check all that out. Lots of fun stuff happening here. All right. Why don't we go around and do some introductions? Tell us what you're doing on these wild and wacky internets, and go ahead and give us a brief character roles and names for your character. Why don't we start with Kraken King? You're up.
Oh God, I'm never first. That threw me off.
I'm so sorry.
I'm Sean. I'm the Kraken King on Twitter. I'm in a lot of the shows that were just mentioned. Specifically, I run Thunderball, and I am in all the other stuff next week. Today, I am playing the hedonist Raleigh Addison. And you want to talk about the minor characters we're playing too?
Those can come up later. We'll introduce them as they come, but yeah, just your major character for now.
Yeah, that's what I'm playing. That's it for me.
Sweet. Next up, I believe, is Savvy.
That's me. Hi. I'm Savvy at Savvy Seaworth on Twitter and the rest of the internet. You can catch me in every stream that Sid mentioned, because I run Slang 101 and I run Tales from the Loop, and I play in Thunderball and I play in Eos. So I won't repeat all the times for those, but you can find me not here starting on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm running a mini campaign of Masks on Encounter Roleplay. So come hang out Friday afternoon. It's gonna be really fun. And Sean's there.
I'm there too. I forgot to mention that. I feel bad.
And then everything else, I'll be here. And I'll tweet about it. And today, I am playing the Lady of Many Titles with the Countess Rosamund Spice, who is the heir, I believe. The heir to great fortune.
Very great. My husband laughed very loudly in the background. Anyway,
I'm hilarious.
Yes. Built-in laugh track. RJ, you're up next.
Hey everybody, I'm RJ, but you can catch me at RJustice282 on Twitter and Twitch, where I sometimes stream and tweet about the nerdy things in my life. Today I'll be playing Theophilus Wilmot, and he is the Dependent. You can Well, this week I think all I have left is on Sunday, where I'll be playing over at the Indoor Adventures channel, where we're doing the Tomb of Annihilation that's set in a 1920s noir version of Chult. It's not modernized, it's just a jungle still. I ate a Wanty heart, so...
Well, there's a story attached to that, but we'll save that for later. And last but not least, Alex, go for it.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm OMG It's Some Guy on Twitter and Twitch. I play in all the GGK games except Slam 101. I think, maybe. I've lost track. Anyway, in today's game, I am playing Grover Shelton, the Careerist.
Yay. Oh, and I'll mention my stuff. Hi, I'm Christina Sid. I'm facilitating today, and you can find me here on Sunday, Slaying 101, and Saturday, I'm just gaming all day. I will be doing 1 o'clock Eastern over on ProStar's channel. We are doing a Tal'Dorei campaign, D&D 5e, some one-on-one, some Scary Town. It's going to be great. And at 4:30 Eastern over on Savrik's channel, we are bringing back our old Temple of Elemental Evil characters, and we're just going to go for a jaunt in the abyss. It's going to be great. Yay. All right, friends. Nice, RJ. I suppose we can dive right in. So we'll play this on easy mode. We'll just sort of announce all of our steps. The game for everyone, including us. Good Society is there. There are no dice. None of that. This is again collaborative storytelling. So we do have a couple of devices called resolve tokens. So we can sort of barter with those to change the action as we see fit. But everything comes down to our collaboration, which we all put together and agreed upon in session 0. Do we want to refresh that? We can go through that really quick before we get started, if we want to pull that up for everybody. So so everything in Good Society comes back to the collaboration. It is part storytelling device, and it's also part safety tool. We also do use, they recommend highly the X card in this game, so we will use that as well for ourselves and our chat. So we do use safety tools here, and everything comes back to the collaboration. If something doesn't add up with the collaboration, it's not used in the game. So we agreed upon the romantic comedy tone. Actions have consequences, but past misdemeanors can be recovered from. Basically, it's a nice in between a drama and just an all-out, farce. We're gonna try to do historical accuracy, but we're also not going to interrupt the game to, look up a very particular fact or anything like that. But we're going to try. We were goofing around with how we address the Countess, so yeah, we're gonna give it a shot. We're gonna try. That's all that matters. We'll try. The gender power balance, there are a couple different options for the game, and we thought, the most fun is just turn it off like a light switch. It is normal and acceptable for people of all genders to have significant and respectable careers, make the first move, inherit, and have marital relationships with all other genders. So that's how we're doing it in our game. We're not using hidden information. Of course, some information will be unknown to our major characters, but not to any of our players. And we're going to be seeing some big weddings and many parties so far. So we'll add to that as we go. All right. With that underway, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Our cycle of play, we will start at the beginning. The cycle of play always begins with our first novel chapter. Generally, the first novel chapter is an event chapter. So I do have a little bit of a short introduction. Here, I'll do that for you now. Here we are. Toncham upon West Forthbag, mercifully referred to as Toncham by its locals, is a small town just a short 10 miles north of Brighton. Its rolling hills and lush forests were the perfect site for several sprawling estates which now dot the horizon. The beauty of the landscape is only dwarfed by its lovely inhabitants, however, which we will introduce now. So, for the beginning of our novel chapter, we are at an event, a rather special event. It is, I would think, the annual spring garden party over on the estate of the Countess. I believe that's the Atterwood estate. Yes. Rosamund, tell us about the estate. Tell us about these sprawling gardens. What do they look like?
Well, they're sprawling. Yeah, I think it's it's probably pretty flat for the most part. I think with like small kind of groves of trees that have been, lots of them sort of cut down to make room for the estate, but little sort of like manicured places where they've left some of the Atterwood trees. Large sort of brick manor house in the background, sort of up on a little bit of a hill. Wonderful brick steps going up to it, columns in the front, you know how it is. Several wings of the large house, and then in the front, probably a large, like hedged off garden with sculptures and fountains and flowers.
I love it.
And food, probably.
Ooh,
for a party.
yes. Food. Well, in that vein, it is, as they say, your party. What would the Countess be doing? We are in the middle of things. The guests have already arrived. We are in high peak of the party. What is the Honorable Ms. Spice doing right now?
I think because she's the oldest and she's kind of making this transition into like, look, Father, I'm responsible and can do things. I think she is probably for the most part kind of roped into just making the rounds, just kind of stuck in a loop of making sure she talks to everyone and catches up with everyone and remembers everyone's name and things like that. So I think she's probably just like very slowly kind of looping around to everyone.
Excellent.
Be a good hostess.
Having chats with everyone we will come back to in a moment, but let's make our way around. Our camera pans, as it will. Let's go to Raleigh. Raleigh, you managed to secure an invitation to the biggest event of the spring, it seems. What is Raleigh doing as the party is in full swing?
Raleigh is probably doing what he does best at any social engagement, which is make himself the center of attention. So he's probably standing with like he probably has like a group of people that tends to like move with in this in this circle that we interact with. So he's probably with the regulars, and it's probably like loud and kind of talking and like making like big like embellished hand motions and like doing everything he can to call attention to himself, as he is probably a few cups in already.
Excellent. We move over to what is Theo up to at this moment?
Unlike Raleigh, he is keeping to himself, kind of just like probably sees the Raleigh off in the corner and kind of turns his head to the side, wanders off like to the. Would there be like a punch table?
I would imagine so. Is there a punch table, Rosamund?
Yes, there is a table dedicated solely to several different types of punch.
Of course. So yes, definitely.
Probably spies Rosamund making her rounds and gives her like a small head nod.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And where's Grover among the party goers?
Grover is probably currently has begged away from whatever conversation he found himself caught in. And what time of day is it? Is it evening already? Sunset? Is it early still?
I would imagine it's probably midday to afternoon.
Early
if we're
afternoon?
going to really, enjoy
Okay.
the garden.
Yeah, but so has probably decided, I haven't sketched this part of the gardens before, and has gone somewhere to try and, sketch the gardens with, some new light that he hasn't taken advantage of yet. Probably has actually positioned himself so that he is getting the gardens and, some of the guests milling about, and is just sketching in his notebook before he realizes, okay, I've been away long enough, I have to go back in.
Excellent. So, speaking of some of those conversations as hostess, is there anyone in particular that you'd like to check in with, Rosamund?
Oh man.
If not, if anyone else has a particular conversation they would like to have.
I imagine she is probably supposed to be seen publicly talking to Vernice at some point.
Understandable. Would you like to tell the stream who Vernice is?
Vernice is Rosamund's legitimate and very boring suitor.
Excellent. And for the stream as well, in Good Society, every major character does also take on what we would call a connection. The connections are literally there to make mischief for the major characters. But this particular one, I believe, is Sean's. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wonderful. So yeah, what sort of conversation are they up to?
I don't know. Trying to imagine what they even talk about.
Lovely party.
Yes, thank you.
And how do you find yourself this evening, darling?
Fine. It's lovely to see everyone. You?
I'm enjoying it thoroughly.
Well, I'm glad. Is your sister in attendance?
Oh, yes, I believe so. And she kind of looks around, and I think Aurora would probably be over with Raleigh.
I was about to say, yeah. Yeah, probably only second to Raleigh's boisterousness would be Aurora at his side, continuing with their particular brand of hijinks and merriment.
How could I miss them?
Quite. She makes no effort to keep the conversation going.
Wonderful. I'll leave you to it then.
As you wish. And she goes back to standing there quietly, contemplatively.
Just walk away. I imagine that's every conversation that they have.
Oh, I love it. Well, speaking of the boisterousness, Raleigh, is there anyone in particular you'd like to carouse with at this party?
I mean, most people. Well, so my thought is, at some point he sees Theo. I have to imagine at some point Raleigh notices that Theo is there. I don't know if that's now or later on would be better, but that is something that I want. I mean, now's good for me. Because I think he would, if Theo's like trying to stay like out to the side and stuff, Raleigh at some point stops focusing on himself and kind of scans the room, and sees sees Theo over like the punch table or whatnot, and just probably stops in whatever he's doing or laughing at obnoxiously and looks over at Aurora and says, "It looks like they're letting anyone in here now."
Who? Where? And what kind of fun can we have?
He nods over and says, "Looks like my dear younger cousin is in the room today.
Oh,
Should we go introduce ourselves?"
well, if we must. Well, need to
We can have
tidy up afterwards.
a bit of fun with him.
All right. Lead the way. Be right back.
And Raleigh confidently leading himself, because right now I think he's wearing like a very what time of the year is it right now?
I would
Is it
say
like
spring making its
so
way to summer. Is that
lighter colors?
fair?
Uh,
No, just a
It's
winter
prob-
spring garden party.
-10. No.
He so he's wearing like a lighter color, maybe even a white like tailcoat, and like very like flamboyantly dressed, and has like a walking cane made of ivory that he is strolling across the room with, and comes up to, like, from a very far distance, says, "Cousin."
Theo is mid sip of punch and freezes like a deer in the headlights as he sees Raleigh walk over. Cousin,
"I didn't know you were in town."
I live here, cousin.
"Really?"
Yes.
Oh, come on now, Raleigh. You know that little tiny mouse hole next to the church?
"That's right. I walk past it almost every day and barely even notice it."
Oh, you didn't hear him this morning. It was just this little church mice squeaking away.
That does ring a bell now that I think about it. How are you, Theo?
Would be better. He's put down the cup and kind of has his arms behind his back. So, I see you're doing well for yourself.
Oh, same old, getting into whatever I can. What are you drinking over here? Oh, you need something stronger than that, my good man.
No, I shouldn't. The father doesn't like it when I come home.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
like,
only
slap-
holy water, I assume.
Raleigh slaps the hand on the shoulder and says, "I insist. Come now, come."
He will follow Raleigh, and if he catches Rosamund's eye, he just mouths a silent "help me."
And Raleigh goes to maneuver Theo into the social circle that he was running in an effort to sort of put him off on his heels.
He looks very uncomfortable, but he will small talk as best as he can.
Roar just hands him more punch.
Is it spiked with a small sniff?
Do you have to ask?
No. Okay. Small sips. You travel in a very big crowd, cousin.
Well, you wouldn't want things to get boring now, would we?
I'm bored now. What else is there to do?
Well, I suppose that's up to the what's the word we went with? The Marquis. I suppose they probably have something entertaining planned at some point tonight. But if not, we can certainly find some for ourselves.
I think I prefer the latter. Usually those sorts of entertainments are so bland.
Quite.
Wholesome?
Well, we can certainly entertain ourselves. I did receive some exotic goods earlier in the week. Perhaps we could sample them later in the evening.
That definitely sounds far more entertaining.
There is an eyebrow raise. Is this during a time where it's like those exotic goods would be illegal, or is it just whatever?
Highly frowned upon.
You aren't planning to do that here during the party, are you, cousin?
It depends, really.
You have to think about
Why?
your position. It's frowned upon taking illicit substances during a public event.
No, I didn't say anything of the sort.
What are you going on about, Church Mouse?
I must have read the room wrong then.
Your mind goes to dark places, cousin. I hate to see what you get onto in that small little mouse hole of yours.
Very interesting. Oh, we may have underestimated you.
I've heard the stories about your... What's the correct word for it? Escapades?
Really? Well, I would love to hear them. I love stories, and if I'm the subject of them, even more so.
You know, I shouldn't be saying it in polite company. It's just,
Aurora will lean in slightly closer than is necessarily appropriate and said, "Who said anything about polite company?"
If you'll excuse me, cousin, I'm air. I would like to step out.
Certainly. You're a free man after all, please. We'll find you later.
Pleasure, Church Mouse.
Very stiffly tries to walk away.
Loud, boisterous laughter. Where's Grover in all of this?
He is probably making his way back in. Maybe caught the tail end of that. Maybe saw Theo walking away and the laughter that followed. I'm trying to think how long Theo has been, or not Theo, Grover has been in Tonsham, whether he knows all the players yet. Rosamund probably would have told him who's who already. But yeah, I think goes up actually to Raleigh and Aurora as the ringleaders. Mr. Addison, Miss Keating, pardon my interruption. I don't know if we've been properly introduced yet, but Grover Shelton here at the Countess's insistence. I'm here to do portraits of individuals, and I was just thinking, this is such a good scene. Would you mind if I, took some sketches now, and perhaps even at a later date scheduled to do, a portrait of you and your compatriots here?
You're a painter?
Yes, quite accomplished if I say so myself.
Well, I could not imagine a better subject for you. Of course, my good man. How would you like us over here?
I know someone here appreciates the beauty that they are so lucky to, be a part of. Of course, absolutely. Where is the proper light? Is it here? Oh, perhaps here.
This will do just fine. Don't worry, I'm just taking some sketches now to get started on the painting later, but I would, again, humbly request your time as a model at a later date to put the details into the work.
What do you think, Mr. Addison?
Why, certainly. And perhaps I know the exact location, a beautiful little spot over at my estate. You can certainly come there, and we can, later in the week, and we can do whatever it is that you need for us to do, pose or whatnot.
Lovely. Sounds like a plan. We'll work out the details, later in the evening. Don't want to take up too much of your time right now.
I'm sure you won't be disappointed. The lighting at Battenmore is excellent.
I certainly look forward to it.
So do I.
And then I'm imagining whatever the Regency equivalent of voguing is from Raleigh.
Grover will take his leave, but go to like the side of the room and start sketching them just as they are in their group.
I would like to use a resolve token, if I may. I would very much like to see a scene between Mr. Theo and Ms. Rosamond. Seeing as this may not necessarily be an appropriate conversation, long conversation for the Countess, given her status, I can go ahead and give the resolve token to the Countess if she obliges.
Sure.
Excellent.
If only
So
I knew
for our
the
friend-
rules.
So on your character sheet, you can go ahead and add an additional resolve token. You can spend that as you would like. Again, since this did potentially affect the reputation of one character, I did need to make sure that it was okay with the player of that character. So I will get rid of one of my resolve tokens. And Savvy will pick one up
Yay!
to do with what she will. So, where does this scene take place?
Theo had walked out probably towards the garden area, so he's probably leaning against one of the pillars there, just looking out at it, taking it in.
Okay. Yeah, I think she'll see him come out, probably with a sour look on his face. Kind of like casually, just so casually, kind of circle back around, stop and get some punch, and then kind of edge her way over to him. Mr. Wilmot?
Your Honor.
It always makes me laugh to hear you say that.
Well, proper company and society dictates that I agree to you accordingly.
How are you?
I could be better. A little forewarning next time that my, cousin's here.
As if I could convince your cousin not to attend these gatherings. He's certainly something.
I don't know how he does it. It's like, does that man ever wake up with a hangover?
If he did, he wouldn't tell you.
How are you doing?
Fine. I think I've spoken to everyone I should. I should be seen with Miss Keating a bit more. But I find we exhaust our topics of conversation rather quickly.
Well, it's good to keep up appearances, right?
Always.
That invitation caught me by surprise. I had to borrow something from the Reverend, and you can see that he's wearing a black jacket that clearly is like a clergy jacket.
It
That
suits
has-
you.
A hole in it. I was never one for the clergy. I'm very thankful for what they've done for me, but just not for me.
Well, I apologize for surprising you, but I feared giving too much warning might be perceived as odd.
Are they alone in the garden?
Have you wandered off to a more secluded area of the garden? Okay. So we are
She walks
taking
like a couple feet ahead of him. Like,
taking a turn, as it would.
yeah.
Well, maybe next time you can make it up to me.
Mr. Wilmot. Perhaps.
You should probably go back inside before they figure you're missing. The
Good
scandal
lord.
it'll cause, something even probably Riley couldn't accomplish.
It sounds almost as though you envy him.
He can be who he wants to be. I have to play a role. That's a little envious.
I understand. Well, pleasure seeing you, as always.
Pleasure was mine.
Walk away.
That's everything I wanted. Resolve token well spent. Awesome. Wonderful. Well, Miss Spice, is there any sort of planned entertainment for this garden party? Are there musicians? Is there dancing?
I imagine so. I think there's probably, while it's still like afternoon and light out, some sort of like game on the lawn. Bocce
Ooh.
ball or something.
The Regency equivalent.
I don't know what
Croquet.
they would call it.
Yeah.
Croquet?
Croquet seems appropriate, right?
Right, yes. And then probably music and dancing into the
Later in the-
evening.
Excellent.
And snacks.
Lots of snacks. Anyone have any desire to show off at croquet?
I think there would be a small exchange between Riley and Theo. Probably Riley misses. Theo walks past him and just mutters, "Come on, cousin, you're used to sinking balls."
Raleigh just cocks an eyebrow at him as he passes, but tries to maintain some composure. Well, what the response to that would be? No, I think he just waits. There's a mental check mark there. Raleigh doesn't like doing anything that causes him to sweat, so I think he's very much half-assing any sort of sporting that he is doing right now.
Aurora's joining you, and just like the ball like barely touches the mallet. It's oh, how droll. Punch.
Please.
Lovely. Brings you over something that's barely punch and very much alcohol.
I imagine Rosamund plays croquet a lot at parties because everyone lets her win.
You definitely notice, if it comes down to someone being slightly ahead of her honor, it's just, they had an easy shot, but whoopsie. So, yeah, she does tend to win.
And imagine if Grover would let her. If he's like, I'm gonna show all these old money fools how you play croquet.
Imagine Grover just sitting there drawing and her trying to convince him to come play. Like, please, I'd love to play a game actually with someone.
Yeah, I think he would sketch like the first round of croquet or something, but then would be persuaded to play the next round. And I think it's probably giving Rosamund an actual contest until someone might pull him aside and be like, you have to let her win. Like, you have to let her win.
Oh, I love it.
Which he would.
So Rosamund, for what would be, I assume, maybe the 4th year in a row of one of these garden parties.
I win.
Oh, she wins. Who knew?
Wonderful fun.
Excellent. And as the afternoon winds down into an early evening, and musicians sort of appear and set up for some dancing. And in our good society, dancing is very important. Dancing, choosing someone to have the first dance with can be a very big deal. So, who's dancing?
I don't have choice. It's my party.
You would, in fact, being the Honorable, the Countess, and essentially hosting this party, which your father, the Marquise, is definitely taking his part, but I would also assume he has a bit of a handful. You being the oldest, there are 4 younger siblings, so there's a lot of wrangling for that. So he kind of allows you to take the lead on this, but you would definitely head up the first dance and be at the front of that line for that dance. So who is your partner?
Oh no, I don't know. I put myself in these situations with no plan.
I would assume perhaps your betrothed, Miss Keating.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, up to you. Don't let me put words in your mouth. I'm just saying.
It's the dating sim option where you click down the list.
All right, so
yeah, I think it's Venice, Miss Keating.
Do you ask her? Do you think she asks you?
I'm assuming that
rude of her not to ask me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm assuming that it's Vernice that like approaches in a very sort of tired when is like, Your Honor, may I have this first dance?
Of course.
Excellent.
And I imagine she's a fine dancer.
Good breeding, all that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I think while they're
Bit
dancing,
stiff.
Rosamund's probably trying to talk to her. She's just like... So, still enjoying the party?
I am. It's been quite exciting. Spoken with a few people I haven't had a chance to speak with in some time.
Oh, really? Who?
Oh boy, now you're going to make me decide names. Oh, you know, people.
Of course.
How about you?
Oh, quite lovely, yes. Do you know I enjoy croquet?
Undefeated still, I see.
I don't think it's all my skill, but... Oh well, fun all the same.
So, I suppose with that painter of yours here,
Oh, Mr.
we should
Shelton.
probably have. Yes. We should probably have an engagement portrait drawn up.
I suppose if an engagement becomes official.
Is it not? I've completely forgotten. Is it not?
She's a suitor of the Countess, but an
right,
official
right.
engagement has not quite been arranged.
Okay.
Very
Strike
forward of you, Miss Keating.
Well, you know, I have high hopes for our union. It would be very beneficial to both our families.
Indeed, my father seems to think so.
Mine as well.
So, did you get to try the punch? There's a wonderful lemonade over there.
I've never been a fan of citrus.
Ah.
And as that awkwardness continues,
And the song ends.
as that's going on, is anyone else partaking in the dance?
eventually, but I think again Grover is kind of doing the sketch it first, and then once he's gotten enough of a sketch of the dancing done, then he'll actually participate.
Maybe as like the third dance comes around, Thea works up the nerve to ask Her Honor.
What would he say?
She's probably flocked by people. Pardon me, Your Honor, but would you like to have this dance with me?
If there's like a lot of other people around, she would be like,
Unless your dance card is full, then I understand you.
how very sweet. I always have time for friends of the church. Shall we?
Offers his hand to her, or takes her hand, sorry, other way around.
Sorry.
It's all right. Looked like it was getting a little stuffy in there.
It's a bit warm.
Maybe we can have another small walk in the garden then.
I would very much appreciate the fresh air. Later.
I would like to jump in here. I'd like to play a monologue token. That is another fun part of our game. Every cycle, someone can call in a monologue token, and at that moment, a character can give us their interior monologue, as is quite made famous in Jane Austen novels. So I actually want to call it on Raleigh.
Oh boy.
seeing his church mouse cousin dancing with the honorable countess.
You
What
ain't
is
danced
he?
with the countess.
What is he thinking right now?
Oh man. Is this something that I have to do like in character voice or
Up to you. I mean, I assume we'll get more comfortable as we go, but as I am literally putting you on the spot for the first monologue token used in our entire game. You can.
I was sitting here at the beginning because I was looking through some of the rules and I was like, oh man, if someone makes me monologue at some point, I'm gonna know it.
And I did it.
You never monologue ever.
No, I'm not good at that. I hate talking. So I think, because I think Raleigh probably had his first dance had a dance with probably Aurora or somebody else in his little social circle. Nobody like important to as romantically, and is now just kind of standing back and having a drink off to the side, one of many, and sees this, and his first thought is, cousin, see you're after some of the finer things here in Tonsham. I wonder if he's reaching beyond his station. Perhaps I should inquire into this later. If there is anything illicit happening, perhaps I could bend this to my advantage. I'll have to talk to Aurora about this. Maybe her sister would like to know. That's it.
Excellent. Yes. I love it. And again, you have now monologued for this cycle, so you don't have to do it again until we get to the next cycle. So you can mark that off on your character sheet. But again, monologue? Yes, you have monologued.
So you said it's, use that per cycle. Is that all the way through novel repetition rooms, get all the way up until...
Exactly. So up until we do another upkeep. So once we do upkeep, we bring everything back. So he does not have to monologue himself, but you, Sean, do still have a token. Monologue token that you could play on someone else.
Now the connections don't monologue, just the main characters.
Correct.
Okay.
And in fact, mine is now gone. Done and done.
I know we can spend resolve tokens to have people like notice things or like insert like drama into the plot. Can we do that for connections that are not specifically our own, or is it because the wording and some of the
so
reference.
you can essentially use a resolve token for any sort of like major action or change to the story if it involves someone else's major character or someone else's connection. You just have to get their permission. So you can kind of enter into a negotiation on that. If they're cool with it, they just take the resolve token for themselves and you mark one off. They can also say yes, but, and have some stipulations, and then you can agree in that regard. Or they could just say no, and then it just doesn't happen.
Basically, what I was thinking might be interesting is if one of the connections saw either later, if they do it again, or earlier, Theo and the Countess on their private stroll. And
who were you hoping would see this?
I was either thinking, because I wanted to bring in some new
do it
characters here, is either my mother, Mildred, who I think is one of Theo's connections, or the Marquis.
It's up to you. You're the one using the token. So who would you like to have potentially spotted that?
Who do I negotiate? Am I negotiating with Theo and the Countess because it's they're the ones impacted with it or impacted by it, or am I negotiating with the person whose connection it is?
It would be that's a dicey one. I would say it would be the people actually impacted by it.
So
since it is two people, that one gets dicey too.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it.
RJ is down.
It's really boring if I say no.
Okay, it sounds like Savvy's cool with it.
Yeah.
The Marquis seems a bit extreme, so I was thinking maybe Mildred, and that kind of leads to the rumor mill starting to churn a bit.
I like it. Oh, absolutely. Well, the rumor mill is going to churn regardless, but I like that we have a little in for it. So
yeah, absolutely.
As long as they are both amiable to it. In this situation, we could kind of quibble, but you know what? Savvy already got one, so we'll give it to RJ.
That's
RJ,
what
go
I
ahead
was
and
going to
take.
suggest. You're really about to make me spread rumors about myself.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, we'll get to rumors, and you're not spreading them as your characters. You're spreading them as players and weavers of our story, so don't worry about it. All right, so RJ, go ahead and mark another resolve token for yourself.
Okay.
So I lose.
Yes, so you would mark one
resolve
off.
tokens?
So you've kind of given one of yours to RJ for this this cycle.
Cool.
Excellent. So yes, we can do a little timey-wimey, whippy-wobbly, sort of scaling back. Maybe the camera pans over to our lovely Ms. Addison.
Maybe she didn't think about it that much when she saw it, and now that she's seeing them dancing, like putting two and two together, be like, oh, I saw them earlier.
I like it. Yes, she's just sitting there thinking. We get a do to her, sort of spotting them, going back and having their little tete-a-tete, their stroll in the garden, and definitely putting two and two together. Oh well, Savannah, you actually bleed her.
I do.
So yeah, you can take that information as you will, as Mrs. Addison. Oh, and let's clarify that too. So Ms. Addison is Raleigh, your mother.
My mother,
is
yes.
Mr. Addison in the picture anywhere? He doesn't have to necessarily come up, but just to clarify, is he around? Has he passed?
I want to go, for simplicity's sake, I want to go with that he's passed. Because then my mother is like the only like parental figure, and she doesn't like Raleigh very much. So I think that streamlines things a little bit.
Gotcha.
She loves her
And-
favorite nephew.
She does seem to like her nephew a lot.
Plus,
So-
there's a lot of dads in this game already. So we don't have to-
yeah, let's clear out some
We
dads.
do have a lot of dads.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so Mr. Addison has passed, but Mrs. Addison is still around, and yeah. How does she take this little bit of info there?
I think she would be much more harsh about it if it were Raleigh. I think she wants to give her favorite nephew Theo the benefit of the doubt. But she's probably gonna have to talk to him.
We can get to that. Any more dancing to be had? Any more conversations that we want to squeeze in before the end of the party? Now, these parties, like, they go for a while. So, the Regency partied on until the dawn. So,
We're into the wine now.
oh, yes.
We're out of the punch.
Yeah.
I think I do try to very discreetly swing by and tell Grover that as his patron, it would look really bad if he didn't ask me to dance.
I think he will, oh, yes, trying to brush off. He probably, I don't know if he's using charcoal or something to sketch, probably messes up his clothes just a little bit, but the Honorable Countess Rosamund Spice, would you do me the honor of having this dance with me?
Gladly, Mr. Shelton.
Excellent. So, Grover does his due diligence and dances with his patronettes.
I think would like to chat about some of the various guests. You had warned me about Mr. God, what are the last names? Mr. Addison and Ms. Keating, but dear Lord, they are something else entirely in person.
I told you. They are quite something. Quite the pair.
Yes, at the very least, they should serve as interesting subjects for one of my paintings.
Are you going to paint them?
Yes, them and their whole crew, but they do seem to be the ringleaders, so who knows if they'll be able to scrounge up the rest of their lot for it.
I wish you luck.
I will take your wishes gladly.
Soon enough, you may be hearing from the other Miss Keating.
Oh? She's so bold as to expect an engagement portrait?
Without an engagement. Can you imagine?
I cannot. But, you know me, I'm always more than willing to do a portrait of you and whomever you may wish.
I'll consider it. It's a bit of a commitment.
Yes, well, as you know, these portraits can be done over several sessions, so you mustn't... Would Grover know about Rosamund's feelings towards her suitor, or have at least an idea?
I don't think she's ever said anything directly. But I mean, I think her and Grover spend a lot of time together. So I mean, it's probably not, I mean, they have very short, kind of stifled conversations, and Bernice kind of sucks.
As you know, I am a studier of the human subject, and I have noticed certain things. So, regardless, the portrait sessions can be done in many short intervals, so you mustn't spend too much time with her, just trying to look pretty next to each other. Which you obviously outshine her in, but I may be overstepping my bounds in that regard.
Oh, I'm glad to have you around. Now, I imagine sometimes your portraits take quite a while, if you're going to be painting the other Miss Keating.
They can, yes. It depends on how cooperative the subject is. But, yes. But we shall see. I imagine, now that I've planted the seed in her and Mr. Addison's mind, they will be asking me to paint them in all sorts of manners.
As I've said, I wish you luck.
My thanks.
Shirtless on a horse, lounging with just a basket of fruit.
Oh. He shows up and just like the entire crew of like 12 socialites is just scantily clad.
Yes.
That's what the bowl of fruit's for.
Mhm.
Yes. Strategically placed.
It's strategically placed.
We'll get there. We'll get there in visitations.
I would like
we'll
to
get
spend
there.
a token.
Hold your horses. Hold your horses.
I mean, that's a token well spent. I mean,
Right.
Right. Any other conversations as the party goes well into the evening?
I imagine I had to talk to Raleigh at some point, but
Had to.
I don't know what they would talk about.
I
They know each
I-
other.
No, they do. Well, you and I talked about it a little bit. I think Raleigh encourages the Countess to
Listen up.
expand her horizons a bit.
Because
Come to our
he's a little bit
private
older than
gatherings.
her, right?
Yes.
How old are you?
He's 24.
God, ancient.
I know.
Getting to be an old bachelor there.
Yeah. So maybe they have a conversation because I think as the night goes on, the wine comes out, they drink a little bit more, and then his crew disappears at some point in the night for other more illicit activities. And I think he'd probably have a conversation with her like shortly before that. And yeah, I think he just he approaches her at some point when she's not like terribly busy and says, "Your Honor, I would be remiss if we did not spend at least some small amount of time speaking tonight. I have so missed your company."
Mr. Addison, I thought I heard your voice.
And he would walk up, like give a deep bow or like kiss her ring or something like that. I don't know what the appropriate like greeting, like an over exaggerated version of it. And he says, "Well, this has been a lovely gathering. I'm afraid that I will be having to leave here very shortly, but how has your evening been treating you?"
Oh, wonderful. It's been so wonderful to see everyone, and now that spring has sprung, as it were, we can enjoy the garden again.
Right. I don't suppose that you'd be of any interest in coming to the coming to my estate at any point in the coming week for a private gathering.
I suppose I could be persuaded. I'm quite busy lately, but it is always a pleasure to visit your home.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you. I remember the last event that we had, you seemed to have a good time, and I can promise even more splendid occurrences in the next one.
Indeed. Well, the company was most pleasant, so yes.
Excellent. I will, of course, I will make sure somebody's here to escort you if you do not wish to bring your Miss Keating, elder, along.
Yes, Miss Keating is, she has very particular tastes.
I could agree with that. She seems a bit limited in some of her appetites. She's a pleasant woman. I
Very.
prefer the company of her sister.
I imagine you do.
But if you're looking for some time away from the brilliance of your estate here, Battenmore would be honored to have you.
I will write to you, so you're prepared for my arrival.
Excellent. I will leave you to your business then.
Have a wonderful evening, Mr. Addison.
You too, milady. And he gives a bow and
Tips his fedora.
and then he leaves.
I would like to do one quick scene. Grover, your mother did make an appearance at the party. And at this point, she is several cups in. Upon my word, just money, just pounds and pounds, just thrown everywhere. Of course. Can you believe this, Grover? I can't anymore. I just can't. What
Yes,
happened
Mother,
to just a proper sit down with a few close friends? I mean, upon my word, just do you know how many starving families could be fed upon all of these pounds that have been spent? They have an entire table dedicated just to punch. Punch, I say. Oh my goodness.
I do believe you have consumed more in the worth of wine than you spent on one of the last gatherings you
Well,
threw.
I didn't say that the punch wasn't good, but really, did they have to have an entire table for it? Upon my word. Oh.
Well, speaking as an artist, they have such a large estate that they must fill it up with something, or just the empty space would be too much for the aesthetic.
But there's just so much empty space. I mean, you could very comfortably live in a home a quarter of this size, and rent it out to people who would have more need of it. But it is not my estate to do with what I want. Of course, it's not mine. It's not mine.
Yes, and may we pray to God that you never have that much money and power over others. Come, Mother, you have been here quite a while. Have you seen the gardens yet?
Oh yes, no, they are quite lovely, but again, just so much extravagance. I mean, they could just have the natural trees growing here, and I assume you sort of shove her toward the gardens to shut her up.
I want to
Excellent.
talk to Grover's mom so bad.
You got the tokens.
I know. Can I make myself talk to Grover's mom?
Absolutely.
Can I insert myself into your life?
So I would say if you wanted to insert yourself into that particular conversation, that would be a resolve token. But if you just want to have a conversation with her, absolutely.
I can come up on the end of it if that's easier.
Sure.
But I just think she probably doesn't like Grover's mom very much. So I think as he's it was okay with you as he's like shoving her out the door, I think, from like behind him. It's just like, Miss Shelton, you've made it.
Your Honor, and she will curtsy very low. Thank you so much again for this. You're welcome. I appreciate the invitation.
I
She said
apologize we
several-
weren't able to
several
speak
glasses.
earlier. I didn't see you. Did you find everything to your liking?
Of course, I loved the extravagance of your punch table. It was so accommodating to every possible taste.
Oh, yes, I had several different types made just for, guests like you of discerning taste.
Of course, you are too obliging, Your Honor.
It is really so wonderful for you to come and spend time with your son. We do so enjoy having him here.
Well, yes. My Grover is quite talented and quite a catch, if I may say. Any of the young ladies in town would happily make a partner, the young gentleman or anyone else. Isn't that right, Grover?
Oh dear God, can we not talk about this? Yes, well, no
Well,
one
if you
hit-
don't advocate for yourself, then when will you find a proper partner? He never does this. We do very much appreciate your patronage, of course.
None of the
Talent should be
potential
renowned
candidates I
around.
have brought before you have ever met with your approval, Mother.
Well, of course, you just haven't found the right person yet, but one of these days.
Yes, one of these days indeed.
She's trying so hard not to laugh. Well, if you need someone to advocate on your behalf.
We wouldn't dream of putting you out like that.
We,
Honorable Miss Spice.
I would be more than happy for your advocacy on Grover's behalf, Your Honor. Grover.
It would be the least I can do.
Well, then we thank you very graciously.
She's tried so hard not to laugh at it. Like, haha, I'm talking to your mom.
Mrs. Shelton will give a little bit of an unsturdy curtsy and make her way.
Enjoy the gardens.
Ta-ta.
Well, now you have met the Mrs. Shelton in person. Was she everything you had hoped for?
Oh, so much more.
You really don't have to, offer to serve as a matchmaker or what have you, but my mother has been rather exacting in her expectations of any suitors that I have brought forth.
And she should be.
I find it a bit hypocritical of her to be acting in such a way when she, you are aware of my mother's feelings towards the old money.
Acutely.
Yes, I do apologize for that.
It's not necessary. She cares for you.
Yes, sometimes I wish she didn't care quite as much or quite as loudly, but it is nice.
I'll stop teasing you then.
Much appreciated.
Any last scenes as we while away the remainder of the party? Good. Excellent. Yay! That's a novel chapter. We did it, guys. Yay! Awesome. So now we get to move ourselves on over to our next cycle of play, which is Reputation. So if you all want to go ahead and pull up, this will be under your family background for these. So go ahead and pull up your individual family backgrounds. For our streamers and those watching, reputation is extremely important in a good society. It can make or break any of the desires of our major characters. So why don't we go ahead and make our rounds for reputation. Let's go ahead. We'll start with Raleigh. Raleigh, your background is old money, correct?
Old money, yes.
Perfect. So, underneath
Hard to
that
tell you
part-
how I see this going, but
Oh yes. Oh no, we can figure it out from here. So go ahead and look through your positive tags and also your negative tags. And do you feel that now with reputation as well, it is possible for you not to gain either a positive or a negative. You may not gain a tag at all if you don't feel anything happened particularly to your character that would warrant that. Do you feel you've gained a positive or negative tag?
I definitely don't think I gained a positive tag.
Is there a
'cause
particular reason that you feel you gained a negative tag?
Well, I'm not sure. So I would actually say it may be neither. So I
Okay.
did not, because acted in contravention of society's conventions, I don't think he did in the scene.
Okay.
After the scene, like in private.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but did not do anything, I think, outwardly embarrassing. Acted on a desire in a way that compromised your duty or morality. Now, I don't think it compromised my morality because Raleigh's morality is tenuous at best.
This is very fair.
And his duty, as he sees it, is to get this inheritance.
Very fair.
So he's fulfilling that just in a very skeevy way.
Mm-hmm.
Shame to embarrass the family name. I don't think he did that either.
I think
So,
this is
I can't-
a fair instance of unless you want to rally for a positive tag, I think you may not have gained either, which is
Yeah.
not necessarily a bad thing.
Acted in service to duty and morality in a way that compromised your nope, not going to compromise his desires. Didn't deny his desires. Can't see any of those ever happening.
Fair enough.
Acted to be society. Yeah. I don't think he's suffered any hardship or anything or sacrificed anything at this point.
Not quite yet. It was just a party.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, that's a perfect instance of neither being gained. So, next up would be the Honorable Rosamund Spice. And you are in the peerage.
Yes.
So, do you feel you perhaps gained a positive or negative tag?
I'm trying to decide. I'm going back and forth on a couple of them because I don't know that if anything like quite extreme enough happened.
I would say, given that you, spoilers, do have a secret fiance,
What?
doing your duty to, show good faith and dance with your appropriate suitor, and
First.
acting in obedience to society's conventions, acting as hostess. I think that would be a positive tag.
Okay.
So which of those do you want to? So with your positive tag, you come up with a descriptor. Some examples are in the positive and negatives there. So given that you acted as hostess and you were obliging to your proper suitor, Ms. Keating, what sort of descriptor do you think would suit that? A positive descriptor for her?
Well, if I'm using the examples, then something like giving, I think would apply because she gave a whole lot of time and energy not doing things that she wanted to do. So something like that.
Or even dutiful, I would say. Whichever you'd prefer.
I like dutiful.
Perfect.
Do that.
Awesome.
Now I have two.
You do.
I don't know how to spell dutiful.
D-U-T-I-F-U-L. There we go.
I was like, what?
So if you gain a third tag in either positive or negative, where that little green space is for us, then you would end up with a reputation condition, but we will get to that when that comes. For now, you have an additional positive. Theo.
I think I'm at a ±0. I don't think I did anything out of place or did anything like to gain a positive tag. Because the second stipulation is acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship. In doing so, sacrificed or denied your own desire to please someone of higher rank, which is the positive tag. And negative is acted on desire in a way that compromised your duty or morality, presumed to order, instruct, or make a demand of someone of higher rank. Unless asking the Honorable Rosamund to dance is a demand.
If you feel like that was something quite out of the ordinary for Theo, I think you could definitely say that might have been on the negative side. It was definitely overt for someone of his standing. She sort of covered for you, so it wasn't as big of a deal, but you could rally for that if you'd like. Make it interesting.
What y'all think?
I think I want to understand a little bit of like where Theo sits in society right now, because he is the illegitimate, because he's putting himself off as the member of the clergy, because he's the illegitimate son of.
So that would be like, that's not something that's necessarily discussed, or a lot of people might not even know that. They just know that he might not necessarily be a gentleman, but he is well associated with a well-known and well-received clergyman, the Reverend Samuel, and has been raised by him and has been brought up as much of a gentleman as possible. So he's usually welcomed into society for the most part. But no, he is definitely known to be of humble origins. And there might even be whispers of his illegitimacy as well. If you want there to be more than whispers of his illegitimacy, that's where rumors and scandal come in. So we can talk about that later too.
Oh, we will.
I would say that's up to you. I think the Countess did very well in covering in that moment. So I don't necessarily think it is, but if you want to have some fun and grab a negative tag, you go for it.
Like to feel out the system a little more, so let's go for the ±0.
Okay, awesome.
There's plenty of time for us to be scandalous.
Yeah, this is fair.
Is the reputation condition something we can discuss though at some point so we can understand if,
absolutely
like, working harder to get one of those conditions?
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's get through everyone's reputation here and then we can chat about conditions after that as well. All right. So no plus or minus on that one for Theo Grover.
So yeah, as the new money, oh gosh, I'm trying to decide because again, it's the sort of thing where it's like, I don't know if it was a big enough deal, but for the positive side, I'm leaning towards, acting in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromised your desires, that he kind of, sucked up to Raleigh and Aurora and like, oh, you must let me paint you, even though he's like, this is the worst kind of old money.
I would say that attending a party and even bothering to interact with other people would definitely mean that Grover acted in the service of duty that compromised his desires. Yep. Given that I don't really think a big party is his scene from what we've gotten so far.
Not to partake, but certainly to, consume it as art. But then it's like at the same time, does that mean he acted in contravention of society's conventions?
Yeah, he did his part to dance. He tried to keep his mother in line. He did his duty and danced with his patron. Absolutely. I think that warrants a positive tag.
Okay.
So whichever of those you'd like to focus on, again, you'd kind of come up with a descriptor for that. So in, I guess, schmoozing with Mr. Addison and friends, I mean, you could even go with, we could do ambitious, we could do popular, we could do...
Ambitious works.
Yeah. Awesome. Wonderful. Wait, what? Opium and tentacles? What have I missed? I'm sorry. I'm just getting in the chat. Hashtag opium and tentacles. Please use that and tag game nights. Anyway. All right. So reputation conditions. So on your sheet, you'll see there's the little green spot there. So if you end up with 3 of either positive or negative, so you end up with your third in that green spot, you would take a reputation condition. Those are specifically listed on your character roll sheet. So you can go ahead and pull up yours in particular. So if you end up with a third of those, you have 2 positive reputation conditions that you could choose from and 2 negative if you end up with a negative one. What we would do is you would, basically that descriptor would act as having a resolve token on it. And once you've received that third, you can, if it's a positive, use it to your, a positive effect for your major character in a scene that sort of specifically, goes along with that. So for our heir, if you ended up with a good reputation tag, a positive one, you could be the golden child. So your parents, aunts and uncles believe you can do no wrong, and you could utilize that as you see fit. Whereas if you got a negative reputation condition, such as the black sheep, someone else could go ahead and use that resolve token and use that on a scene that would sort of showcase that negative condition that you have. Now, once you end up using that reputation condition, whichever of the descriptors that you end up utilizing for that, that goes away. and then you end up back with 2 again. But you can end up using that to great advantage for your major character when you use it. Does that kind of make sense for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
So, and also if you just want to burn that negative reputation condition as well for yourself, again, you can't make it a positive for yourself. It does have to be detrimental to the major character, but you could use that on your own as well. And then it goes away. Cool. All right, we've made it through 2 spots, guys. Yeah, I'm excited. I would say, do we want to take a quick break? Wow, we've like already got an hour and a half. Do we want to take a quick break and then we'll get into rumors and scandals?
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Awesome. Alrighty, well, we'll take a quick break, everybody. And please come back for all the rumors and scandal and drama. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We made it through. We started a cycle. Yes, and we've made it to one of my favorite parts of this game: rumors and scandals. Yes, rumors and scandals. Very obviously, given that reputation is very important in this game, are also a lot of fun and can definitely influence gameplay and our story as a whole. So, rumors and scandals go as such. We will go through the entire group once through and then go backwards again for a second turn. On your turn, you may either start a new rumor or you may spread an existing rumor. Now, a rumor in and of itself, being on a rumor sheet, means that it's definitely something that's being gossiped about around town, but, you know, it might just be idle gossip, just like, I heard this, oh, I don't know about that. If a rumor is spread, however, it is generally thought by society to be a truth, whether or not it actually is. So it's something to keep in mind. So, to give everyone the opportunity to either create or spread a rumor, I will go ahead and go first because I do get to spread and create rumors as well as the facilitator. And I'm going to jump in and just be saucy from the get-go. So, my rumor, I would like to be the Countess and Mr. Shelton are secretly engaged. Given all the attention that was paid for them both throughout the last party. That is my rumor. So we will go down the line and you may either create a new or spread a rumor. So, Sean, I'm talking to Sean because our characters are not creating these rumors. Us as players are creating them. So, Sean.
I was thinking of something along the lines of Sorry, my dog is trying to eat a box.
Well, why wouldn't she?
That the Spice family, the Marquis, is like struggling financially.
Oh, okay. The Marquis.
How dare you, sir?
His family.
Y'all are after me.
Secretly struggling financially. All right. Perfect. All right. Savvy.
Did we... I have a question before I say mine. Did we... Oh, I lost the sheet. Now I don't know anyone's name. Hold, please. Did we decide how how influential the Keating family is. I imagine pretty, but we talked about that.
We had not filled that out, but we could definitely fill in that little bit of backstory really quick. How influential would they be? Let's see.
Well, not
who
as
are they?
influential as me.
Well, who is really?
I'm helping.
Okay, I would say the Keatings. Well, the Keatings are me and Sean. So, yeah, the Keatings I feel are probably fairly influential. Like a good, a nice estate.
I was imagining, like, maybe not like new money, but new money like come from a well-to-do like trade family or something. They got their,
like maybe a generation back, and now they're reaping the benefits. Okay, so
they don't have the title, they don't have the pedigree as much, but they have the money for it, and that's
they have
how
the
they're
money,
able to
the
kind of work their
estate.
way in.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, excellent. I like that. So yeah, they're definitely welcomed into polite society, and they, are of a good enough standing for that sort of thing, but definitely not peerage or even of old money standing.
Okay. I would like to put forth the rumor that our dear Mr. Addison is having a secret affair with Aurora Keating. And they're not just friends.
I'm gonna put Mr. Addison is having an affair with Aurora Keating. More than friends.
That'll get you both in trouble.
Excellent.
She can't find someone before her older sister.
True.
Not to
You have an
mention.
inheritance to maintain, sir.
Not to mention Raleigh's potential reputation. But anyway, again, this is just idle gossip so far. Hasn't been spread yet. All right. RJ.
I would like to put forth that Mr. Shelton is currently in production of a masterpiece. One that will blow everyone else out of the water.
Oh.
His magnum opus.
Masterpiece. His magnum opus. If I could spell magnum. There we go. Opus.
Nope.
Is it wrong?
No, you're fine. There's a
Oh.
joke. There
He's
was a
gonna make a
joke in there that I'm
magnum
not
joke.
gonna make.
I walked right into that. Anyway, wonderful.
You know.
I get it.
That can be
and
another rumor.
Alex.
Oh, we need to figure out how to bring Theo into this.
So Alex, we will actually, so you'll get 2 turns in a row. So
Okay.
you get both of your turns at the same time, and then we'll go back around.
Gotcha. So it like goes up and then down the turn order.
So you'll take your first turn and your second turn.
Okay. I think let's go with, well, because in their blah 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 words, the Reverend is some form of Protestant, right? That Theo's staying with,
Yes.
and in that denomination, it's not odd for them to marry and have kids and all that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Raised Catholic over here, so that would be like, what?
That is okay.
But,
Yeah, we had said. I know in our session 0 we said father, but yeah, we did the check, and yeah, we were Protestant back then. So
Some
I'm trying to
Protestants do
decide.
use father, so.
Yeah,
True.
trying to decide how scandalous to go with this. I think my base level is that the rumors that Theo is actually the biological son of the Reverend that he's staying with.
okay.
The more scandalous version would be that they are having an affair together.
Oh,
Gasp.
well.
I think
Up
let's
to
start
you.
with the is family related, and then that'll
Okay.
make things even more scandalous if it evolves.
So he
that
is
next stage.
the illegitimate son of Father Samuel.
Mhm.
And also having an affair.
Sorry,
Okay, no.
my brain went to what's it? The meme that's like, "Daddy, I'm sorry," and he says, "Father, it's Father, I have sinned."
Oh, that made me squeak. Wow. Okay.
All
What
of our rumors about Theo are just gonna be that he's somebody else's bastard. He just keeps
Yes.
cycling through the whole
Just
town.
different ones.
Are you my dad?
Are you my dad?
My
Are
dad?
you my dad?
I'd like to create a rumor that he's actually Raleigh's illegitimate.
Welcome to Are You My Dad? A good society tale.
Even though there's only a 1-year age difference.
Yes. Anyway, so Alex, what is the rumor?
So that Theo, or I guess that would be Mr. Wilmot, is the
Yeah.
illegitimate son of the Reverend Samuel Hammond.
Son of Reverend Hammond. Excellent. All right, and your second rumor, or you may spread one of these fantastic rumors that we already have going on.
Yeah. So if one of these is not spread, it moves to fading the next time around, and then if it's not brought back, then it goes away.
Correct. So what will happen is if this is spread, then it will also basically have a resolve token placed upon it, and someone could use it in play.
Mhm.
If it's not spread in this round, it will still be available for the next round of Rumors and Scandal. But after that point, if it's not spread, then it fades and it goes away.
Okay. Torn between giving us more options to play with and also
Totally
going
up to you.
Yeah, one of these to actually start giving some weight.
Oh, some of these are getting weight. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
So you do you.
Yeah, let's go ahead and spread that Mr. Addison is having an affair with Aurora Keating.
Spread. Done. So this is officially something that the town believes to be true, whether or not it is.
We gonna get ya.
All right, so then we go back down the line. So RJ.
I'm gonna steal Alex's idea, and there has been a strange figure wandering around the Adderwood estate.
Yes, it's happening. It's happening now. Hashtag opium and tentacles. All right.
Tentacles.
A strange figure has been seen roaming around the Adderwood estate.
This better be Bigfoot and not some like weird stalker.
I really hope so.
It's just Theo.
It's just Theo. Holding
That
up
is
a
something
boombox.
that someone can choose if this is spread and they want to use the resolve token upon it. Just saying.
Throwing pebbles at the window.
Hey, you up?
I love it. Speaking of Countess, Savvy, what would you like?
I would like to spread a rumor that Mr. Shelton is currently in production of a masterpiece.
Excellent.
Because I want him to have to deal with it.
Yeah. Excellent. So, yeah, that's all anyone's going to be talking about, Mr. Shelton, just so you are aware. All right. And Sean.
Oh boy.
So many choices.
I was just looking through the connections to see if there was anything to
Oh,
play
yeah.
with there.
And again, for connections, if someone does like not even show up ever, that's fine. Like literally all the connections are there for is just extra people to play with to create more problems and scandal for your major characters.
Mhm. I wanted to do something with Erasmus Cockburn.
Because I mean, we haven't discussed him yet.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
he in
let's-
town?
I think I would like to say that Mr. Cockburn is the rumor is that Mr. Cockburn is seeking patronage from the Addison family.
Oh, snap. All right. Mr. Erasmus Cockburn is seeking patronage from the Addison family. The Addison family. Da 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 da. All right. Perfect.
Should we explain who he is?
Oh, yes. For our stream, this particular minor character has not yet appeared, but Mr. Erasmus Cockburn is a bitter career rival with our Mr. Grover Shelton. Yeah. I mean, look at his name. Just saying. Anyway. So yeah, we'll see if that comes into play or not. Oh, it's me. Given that Mr. Shelton already has some things in the works, I will go ahead and throw out there. I'm going to spread that the Countess and Mr. Shelton are secretly engaged. Excellent. I love it. So again, the 3 spread rumors, the secret engagement of the Countess, Spice, and Mr. Shelton, Mr. Addison's scandalous affair with Aurora Keating, and Mr. Shelton currently being in production of his magnum opus masterpiece. Those are all generally accepted to be true by the townspeople. Whether or not they are true is something else entirely. All 3 of those rumors now also have a resolve token that may be played by anyone to create a scene that is sort of centered around that particular delicious bit of gossip. So keep that in mind. Excellent. We did rumors and scandal. Yeah.
Yay.
Excellent. All right. So next up, we have our epistolary. Epistolary is just wonderful because of its name. I just love saying it. Epistolary, epistolary, epistolary. It means we write letters. Letters. We've got letters. We will go ahead and circulate through again. Everyone gets 2 potential letters. These may be written either by your major character to anyone you'd like, or one of your connections that you control to anyone that you would like. And you can just sort of riff on this particular letter, its contents. Yeah, we'll go from there. Let's start. We'll start at the bottom. Alex, do you have anyone in particular that you would like to write a letter to?
So I think I would like to write a letter as Miles Hammer to Raleigh.
Oh, excellent. Describe who Miles Hammer is, by the way. He has not come into play yet.
Best named character in this entire game.
Second to Mr.
I was about to say, I
Cockburn.
don't know,
I guess
Mr.
second to
Cockburn.
Mr. Cockburn. I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah.
Need to have a face-off between Miles Hammer and Mr. Erasmus Cockburn.
Yes, but so Miles Hammer is Raleigh's uncle, but Theo's father, who has not acknowledged his illegitimate son.
Secretly, his father.
Yes. That is something we as the players know, society does not.
Correct.
Um,
What is in this letter? Also, I guess we can probably decide. So, given that he wasn't necessarily in attendance at this garden party, does Mr. Hammer, does he have an estate in Tonsham? Is he still in town, as it were, in London? It is your connection, so you get to choose on that one.
I think it'll be better if he's in Tonsham.
Okay,
we're
so
gonna
he
have
has
to-
an estate there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go to the name generator to come up with one for him. In a
That's
minute.
okay. We can figure that out. But given that he wasn't at the party, he didn't necessarily come into play. Maybe he is in town on business, which would excuse why he wasn't
Yeah.
present at the party. Okay,
So I think the gist of it, because I haven't quite figured out what his voice would be yet, is
that's okay.
Raleigh, the word of your behavior at the party has reached me. Well, my thoughts on your activities. I'm grateful at least that you had the presence of mind to leave the Adderwood estate before getting into such frivolities. I'm trying to think if he would know or write anything about Theo as well. I guess this might be a question for you too. How actively do you think there is this sort of head-to-head of Raleigh's like, I have to make sure I get the inheritance and not your illegitimate son, and how much is Theo like, love me, Papa?
Well, I think we talked about it during our setup, is that like Raleigh has this long-standing relationship with Miles,
Mhm.
whereas Theo, it's kind of like recently come back
Mhm.
into the picture. Is that how you were thinking, RJ, or were you thinking that? Yeah. So, do you think there was ever a moment where he was like, "Hey, the two of you, I want you to meet each other," or do you think he's like really at arm's length with Theo right now?
Maybe when like this relationship could have been brought up a few years prior to them actually meeting. So it's like, oh, so they're probably like 18, 19 at this time.
Yeah. So I think that he is probably, I imagine he has to be aware of the competition between the two of them, because he has, I think for the tension to be there, it has been assumed that Raleigh has always made the assumption I will receive the inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
And now Theo's around and it's kind of, well,
Up in the air
maybe.
now,
Yeah.
So I think, stop doing drugs, but I can't stop you from doing that. At least you left the party in polite company before you did so. I'm aware that your cousin is in town. I do hope that, I received no word of his comportment at the party, so I trust that he behaved himself better than you did.
Excellent.
I think that's it.
All right. So we'll go to RJ.
Now that we brought up Erasmus Cockburn, he sends a lovely letter to Mr. Shelton. Dear Mr. Shelton, I have heard word that you are currently working on your masterpiece, in quotation marks. You've never had a head for framing, so maybe I should come around sometime to see your work. Erasmus Cockburn.
God, I can't wait for them to end up together.
Paint me like one of your Regency women.
The gauntlet has been thrown. Yes. Savvy.
Oh yes. Well, I imagine that the stuffy and ever faithful Ms. Mildred Addison would take the time to write a letter to her nephew about his behavior. I imagine it is under the veil of caring and being concerned for Theo, as she cares for him so much. But She has some concerns. Theo, she has some concerns. I imagine there is like a nice greeting, and my dear, it's been so long since I've seen you. And we really must get together for tea or something like that, so you can update me on all of these new friends you're making in society. And that being said, your relationship with the Countess seems to be a bit, forward. And it concerns me a great deal. Now, I've always known that you would be able to just rise above your station and accomplish whatever you wished, but, you really must keep an eye on yourself, darling. Write me back.
Not excellent. I was muted. I said excellent. All right.
And she's praying for you.
Of course.
And she writes she probably signs all of her letters with a Bible verse.
I love that. That is a character choice. I love it. All right.
It's a character choice I'm not qualified to make.
You don't have to actually name the verse. You just say it happens.
Bible verse.
Love it. All right. Sean.
Are these letters written with the rumors already being spread and stuff?
Yes,
or...
absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, as soon as that phase is over, those rumors are generally about town already.
Okay, then my letter would be from Miss Vernice Keating to the Countess Von Spice.
It's pronounced spice.
The Vaughn is silent.
The Vaughn is silent.
The general gist of it would be, though I do not concern myself with the opinions of the rabble around town, it has come to my attention that some scandalous rumors have been spreading regarding your relationship with your what's the word for what's the opposite of patron? What is Grover's
beneficiary?
Title? Beneficiary?
That
Sure,
might not
we'll go with
quite
that.
be right.
I'll look it up, but keep going.
With that painter, I believe that these would be the fabrications of minds simple enough to be preoccupied with such frivolity, and perhaps the result of my intentions not being abundantly clear. We should, in days to come, if you permit, endeavor to spend more time together. Respectfully yours.
Best.
Best.
I like how Sean started with the gist of it is and then goes into this full letter.
That sounds like
I love
Bernice to me.
Bernice is the worst.
I made this character and I hate her so much.
I love it. I love it. Oh no, I have to do 2 in a row. All right, here we go.
So we're going back down the list, the other.
Yeah, so we'll go back down the other way. So I'll do my first and my second because I like to punish myself. All right, here we go.
That's a rumor and scandal all its own.
It really is. It's spread. Anyway, I shall say yes. Okay. Not to dogpile Mr. Shelton or anything, but I'm gonna say Mr. Shelton gets less a letter, more like a note. You do kind of live in the same estate, but so more of like a passive aggressive note, like left for you in your quarters. But your mother will send a quick note. Grover, dear, some very worrying rumors have been going about town that I heard with my ladies' club, and I think you should be very wary about your particular standing with your patroness. Make sure things stay professional and don't overstep your station. Regardless, I don't want to see you with someone that so confoundedly flouts money at every step of the way. Love you. Love, Mummy. And I shall say, yes. I shall say that Aurora will go ahead and send along a note to Mr. Addison. Dearest Raleigh, as our apparent affair has been made known to the world, I think perhaps we should have a little fun along the way. Shan't we? My personal recommendation would be to perhaps top the well-renowned Mr. Shelton's apparent masterpiece that he's working on, and maybe really create his magnum opus with, one of ours. We'll secure the details properly later, but I'm sure we can come up with something. Your scandalous lover, Aurora Keating.
Oh man, I love her so much.
So I think I missed it. You said either top or tap Mr. Shelton, like get him to make a better masterpiece or do one better than his masterpiece.
Get him to make a better masterpiece.
Okay.
Yes. So we'll go back down the line. Mr. Addison, or whoever you would like to utilize their show.
Oh, this one's from Mr. Addison.
I had a feeling.
Well, because he was either going to write a letter to Aurora, which is not necessary now because she's on the same wavelength as he is. But instead, this one's going to be to Theo. And it goes, Dearest cousin, after our reunion the other night, it struck me that we haven't been spending nearly enough time together. I do hope we can remedy that in the coming days. I'll be throwing a small get-together at my estate later in the week, and I would be ever so pleased to have you in attendance. Please let me know if we can expect your company. I'm trying to think of how he would sign this.
Regards.
Yeah. With highest regards, Raleigh Addison.
Esquire. Probably not an Esquire, but you can throw it in
Probably
there anyway.
He says he is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, who really checks on these things anyway? So Sally.
Yeah, I was between a couple, but that solidified mine. Yeah, I would like to have the Countess write a letter to Mr. Addison. And she said she would. Dearest Mr. Addison, it has come to my attention that your gathering you mentioned to me at our garden party is indeed happening this week. And if your invitation still stands, it would be my immense pleasure to join you at your home for this party. Something cordial. Best. The Honorable Countess Rosamund Spice.
Esquire.
Esquire.
OBE or something. Yeah, there's just letters at the end, just more letters at the end.
Dr. Countess Rosamund Spice.
She has to leave the last like quarter of the parchment just for her
For her
signature.
title.
It's fine.
It's all very polite. I hope I am not taking up too much of your time. Thank you for your invitation. It'd be so lovely to spend more time with you.
I love it. All right. Now we get to RJ.
There's probably some acceptance letters that go out, tea time with Auntie Mildred and partying with his cousin, as would be proper. But he's gonna send an official letter to the Countess. It reads, Your Honor, I would like to thank you for the invitation to the garden party. I quite enjoyed myself. I took a bit of a walk home, the long way around, and was thinking about the old days when we were younger. Things have gotten a lot more complicated, haven't they? But at any rate, I
Was
lost
the
my train of
cough
thought.
written in there?
No, I lost my train of thought. I wouldn't mind doing it again sometime. And it says, yours, Theo. And pressed inside of it is a small blue bellflower. I'm sorry. Did I...
Oh, these letters might come back to haunt you. All right, so
I am very easily gotten emotionally.
that was
so sweet.
sweet. All right, Alex.
Oh. I think there's going to be a reply to Mr. Cockburn.
Throw down.
Paint off.
All I'm imagining is the scene in Hamilton, the back and forth letters between
Basically.
Agency rap
yeah.
battle. Yes.
Yeah. Can we turn this into a rap, please?
Someone who's more skilled at that than me can transcribe this, but
I have the honor to be your obedient servant. G.S?
G.S.
getting hung up on what the salutation would be.
Greetings and salutations now.
Salutations, Mr. Erasmus Cockburn. While the rumors of my production of a magnum opus have been greatly exaggerated, the rumors of my skill most certainly have not. However, it has come to my attention that you are seeking patronage from the Addisons. I find them to be a generous family, and do encourage you to seek patronage with them at your soonest convenience. The son of the family certainly styles himself as a would-be masterpiece, and I think he may be a fitting subject for you to try to capture. Best regards, G. Shelton.
Regency dunk.
Bam!
Riley wasn't even part of this spat. God damn.
Give him 5 minutes, he'd make
my
himself part of
God.
it.
Oh my god. Well, that was spectacular, y'all. I feel like we kind of have to give our next novel chapter the appropriate time. I think we can probably agree as well. This will be what we'd call a visitation chapter. So you can let us know whomst you would like to make a visitation upon. And we can keep that in mind for next time. We didn't get through a full cycle, but I feel like we probably will by the end of the next session. Yeah, that is Good Society so far. I would like to do it might be a little corny, but I'd like to do a round of stars and wishes. So that'll be if there's anything that stuck out for you as something really, really great that you really enjoyed from a particular player or scene, and then anything that you might like to see next time, just for, fuel and fodder for our imaginations. I'll go ahead and go first. I loves Archie's letter. Oh my god, I want all letters like this forever and ever. Amen. Oh my god, that was wonderful. Thank you for that. I think we all needed it. And for next time, I really am curious to explore Mr. Addison's dark side, which I don't think we've seen in full form yet, but I have a feeling we will, and I'm very excited.
If I can go second.
Yes.
I really want to. I loved today. I will start with that. My star today was the epic rap battle history painter duo. That was amazing. I want more of that. I'm so glad that Mr. Cockburn might be coming into this.
Mr. Cockburn.
And yeah, as far as I'm on the same line of thought as you, though, with what I want. So I want to see this shindig go down in the near future. So it'll be great.
Savvy.
That's me. My star today was the completely impenetrable awkwardness of Miss Verdi's Keating. Just so good. And exactly what I imagined, if not more. I don't know. Can I make one of them about myself?
Yeah.
I am dying to see how the Countess mixes it up with Raleigh and his friends.
Hey. Party.
And if it wasn't made exclusive, Theo is also, or no, not Theo. Grover is also definitely invited to that too. Like, because
I'm gonna bring him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wanted
So
to
it's
make it,
literally like, is everyone invited to this? Okay, so this might have to be.
Everyone in the group is definitely invited to it. It's a
That
small,
might have
but
to
like
be
the
our
way
next-
that Theo like approached and was like, "Hey, I want to," or not Theo, Grover. God damn it, I'm gonna keep
Mhm.
switching up your guys' name. The way that Grover approached and was like, I want to paint you guys." He's like, "Yes." Under the right situation, like this would be the perfect situation for you to paint us once we're wasted and high and naked. Yes.
Okay, this might have to be. We might have to make it an event chapter then, and we might not have to do. But we might have to make an event chapter, and it might be the hedonist party might be our event. So maybe content mornings are next.
Love it, love it.
Toga.
On that note, Archie.
Yeah.
I agree with Sean. I love all the characters so far. It's so good. A wish. I want Theo and Riley to throw down bar fight style.
Yeah. I mean, Theo would kick Raleigh's ass, but yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say I'd try to throw you out a window, but
Defenestration may happen. I'm just,
the both of them just go out a window.
My man's gonna kick your ass.
Regency action film. I love it. And
The fainting couch.
and Alex.
Yeah, I think the stars is just how awkward Theo ended up being, and like, oh god, what am I doing here? How am I supposed to survive this? But then, the light at the end of the tunnel that is Rosamund. And then I think I have 2 wishes. Is that okay?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. One wish is just at a more basic level, want to see some kind of interaction between Grover and Theo. I imagine they could have a lot of ragging on the old money together. But then I think another wish is I want to see a little more exertion of influence by the parental figures. See them try and rein in their unruly children. Which, may happen if word of this hedonist party gets out.
Maybe.
Secret hedonist parties. Don't tell parents.
Your invitation to the secret hedonist party. Don't tell mom. I love it.
I have to think about how Relic gets mom out of make sure she's busy. So
we can talk about that. Maybe she goes to town. Yeah, literally, mom's out of town. I'm throwing a rager. So. But it's mom's in town. I'm throwing a rager. So
I play a frat boy on Sundays, and this is the frattiest thing I've ever done.
Oh god.
I love it.
Theo just cradling Riley. Don't tell dad. Don't tell dad.
I love it. Well, I hope all of those things happen for next time. So we will rejoin our lovely cast of characters in Toncham in 2 weeks. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you all next time for Regency Shenanigans. Yay! Thanks, y'all. Have a great one.